Yo, what's going on YouTube and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's Kevin Forte and today we are taking a look at the Philadelphia Flyers as we continue our season preview videos. So, Philadelphia Flyers, interesting team, right? We saw a couple of moves this summer, a lot of guys departing the franchise. We saw Justin Braun retire. We saw Kevin Hayes now go to St. Louis. Ivan Provorov, a former top 10, highly regarded draft pick, potentially the next Chris Pronger, no longer there. Potentially more changes along the way, but this is what happens when you bring in John Tortorella. This is the kind of stuff that we see significant change. And, I think the most important additions to this team weren't necessarily guys that they traded for or signed in free agency. There were a couple in that list as well, but it was really more so about bringing back guys that weren't healthy last season and having Travis Konecny, having guys like, let me see, where is he? Cam Atkinson back and healthy are the most critical thing for the Philadelphia Flyers going into this season. Now, some of the notable additions they did bring in, they brought in Cal Peterson as a goalie, which it seems like they're already trying to trade him out because they have other options there in Philadelphia. He was a part of that trade, that Provorov-Columbus trade. Mark Stahl, Ryan Poehling, just to name a few. Overall, I think it was a pretty good offseason for the Flyers. These are guys that are definitely going to fit. They seem like they fit in well with John Tortorella, especially a guy like Poehling, who seems like a good bottom six, just kind of rough him out type of guy. He could really fit in well here. A lot of the story, too, is going to be about the younger players, which we're going to get to that in a second. But I think that the Philadelphia Flyers are definitely in that state of transition. And now we're starting to see them start the race in this rebuild. They're actually starting. They're at the starting line, and they're warming up, and now they're actually getting ready to actually start to run this race. The metaphor kind of sucks, but you get what I'm saying. They're starting this rebuild. They have the plan. They bring in Keith Jones. They've got Danny Briere as their official GM. There's some stability. There's some structure there. And the culture with some of these additions that they also brought in guys like Hathaway. Last year they brought in Delorier. Those guys are going to be guys that help you out in this rebuild and start to create that culture that Tortorella keeps preaching day after day. Rookies to watch for this season. The list is unfortunately fairly small, but the breakout player definitely gives me some promise here for the Flyers. So looking at some of their younger guys, we're going to see a full season of Tyson Foerster. We're going to see Wade Allison in the lineup, Morgan Frost, just to name a few. Yegor Zamula on the blue line. He's definitely one to watch. In the system, Bobby Brink got a couple games last season. Keep an eye on him. He'll probably spend most of the season with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. Same thing for Samu Tuomola. Keep an eye out for him as well. Zaid Wisdom, Oliver Bonk, who they drafted this year, Adam Ginning, Ronnie Attard. Just a couple guys here in their system that I am fairly excited for. And I think that Lehigh Valley Phantoms team, which has struggled the past couple years, is going to be much better. In between the pipes, you've got Ivan Fedotov, Sam Ersson, and Alexei Kolosov. All three of those guys could be legitimate players. And Fedotov is going to probably make an argument to be on the NHL roster. But again, it's a pretty loaded goalie room already with Cal Peterson, Carter Hart, and Felix Sandstrom. Somebody's going to have to find their spot there in Philadelphia because there's a couple pretty good goalies already there. My breakout player, and it's funny, I was listening to the NHL season preview for the Flyers, and they agreed with me. And that is Tyson Foerster. And the reason for that is the way he ended last season. Guys, this is a little bit going out on a limb. But I think Tyson Foerster could end up being the next captain of the Philadelphia Flyers. I know that sounds crazy. Kevin, what are you talking about? Some 21-year-old kid, a 2020 first-round pick. What are you talking about? Tyson Foerster has that type of mentality. If John Tortorella sticks around long enough and Tyson Foerster continues to produce the way he has, he had 48 points in 66 games last season with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. He had 7 points in 8 games with the Flyers, so he's basically a point per game. Yes, in an 8-game sample size, but nonetheless, this is a guy that now in his fourth season pro is going to be an impact player. And Tyson Foerster, man, nobody has been talking about him. Give me in the conversation of a breakout player, potentially a leader for the young group here in Philadelphia at some point. Maybe not this season at 21 years old. There's a couple guys a little bit higher in the pecking order, but I really like Tyson Forster, and like they said in the NHL season preview, could even potentially be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. And we've all kind of got, Connor Bedard locked in there, but nonetheless, there are three candidates that go to the awards show, and Tyson Forster could end up being one of those guys. As crazy as that sounds, he could end up being in that conversation. He's going to get a lot of ice time here with the Flyers, and depending on who he ends up playing with, if he ends up getting to that second, third line spot, he might even find himself on the top line. Who knows? That's definitely one that I am watching for. You need Sean Couturier healthy. I actually have his jersey here, so hopefully he sticks around because I got this jersey at Wells Fargo last year. I've been to Philadelphia a couple times the last couple years. They're kind of growing on me. I used to hate them as an Islander fan, but man, that city is definitely growing on me a little bit. Going to Wells Fargo, I'm always excited for that yearly pilgrimage to Philadelphia to watch the Flyers. And the last couple years, I think I've been kind of missing out because the Flyers fan base just hasn't been all there. They haven't been excited for this team, and I think that's going to start to change now. Maybe not on the ice this season, but I expect the fans to be a little more excited for this team and a little bit more just there's a direction. And I think that's something that Flyers fans and really the entire team as a whole and the franchise as a whole hasn't been able to say for a little while now. And with that said, my prediction is that they win anywhere between 30 to 35 games, 70 to 75 points. They're going to be around where they were last season. And based off that point production, we're not talking about playoffs for the Flyers. The playoffs are not in the cards. They're not thinking about that this season. If they could beat the Islanders or the Rangers or the Devils a couple times, they'll definitely take that. But at the end of the day, this is a team that's still rebuilding, and it's good that they're actually in this spot right now because the way the timing is, there are so many good teams right now in the Metropolitan Division. I've made other videos about fringe teams like the Islanders and the Penguins, and we'll be talking about the Capitals here in the next few videos. It's a tough division to win in, and when you've got the top three, which is the Rangers, Carolina, New Jersey, and then that secondary tier of some pretty good teams, honestly, I think the Flyers are in the most precious spot because once teams like Pittsburgh and the Islanders and the Rangers start to downfall, the Flyers will be coming up at the perfect time where they can maybe catch this division off guard and maybe make the playoffs sooner than we maybe expect. Like I said, it's a long process. We're definitely looking at least 3 years away from this team being in the playoff conversation again. But like I said, it's all about the culture. It's all about the direction of this team, and they are definitely going down the right path right now. So, like I said, let me know what you guys think down below of the Philadelphia Flyers. Like I said, I think we all kind of had the idea that they will be trying to get the first overall pick, Nick Celebrezzi, I think is his name, next season. So they will be in the conversation for the first top 5 picks next year, but I think that's okay. And like I said, definitely watch for Morgan Frost to continue to develop. I'm hoping that happens. Yegor Zamula and definitely Tyson Forster. That is one I'm very excited for, and one of the reasons I will be watching Flyers games next season. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the rest of our season preview series. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again next time.